Peace and blessings. This is your boy Gerald. It is the 28th of January, 2016. How is everybody doing? That's right, y'all. Your boy is waking up, starting my day. Today is my day off. And when I woke up this morning, I had something placed on my spirit to convey. So I'm going to put that out. I'm going to throw the disclaimer out now because it will be of an adult theme, but I'll try to be very PC about it. If there are if there are listeners that are under the age of 21, I say to you, take note, listen, and apply. So how's everybody doing, y'all? I hope you're doing well. I'm out of the little bug I had. I imagine some of you may have felt under the weather, and you've gone through the symptoms. You've allowed the purging to take place. You've allowed yourself to rest, and you're coming out of whatever that was that had you feeling weak, that was attacking your immune system. And I congratulate you. So I'm putting this video out today. Yes, I've been very active as of late. And I know that there's been requests as well as some additional questions that have been asked. And I welcome those. I welcome the interaction. What I need to do is do a Q&A from the subscribers to maybe set up a open forum so that we can all talk. There's questions that you may want to get second opinion to, or just want validation for, or maybe there may be an experience that you may have seen indirectly or directly that you are looking for the answers. I'm actually milling the idea of having that. So if that's something that you may want to be a partake on, definitely leave me a comment. Of course, if you're supporting what I do, thumbs up. But more importantly, if any of these videos that I put out has impacted you or can impact someone else that you care about, directly or indirectly, by all means, share it. That's what it's for. That's what it's meant when they say each one teach one, because we are all connected together. The term 6 degrees of separation is not a catchphrase. It's real. The bonds that tie us together are spiritual ties. But the question is, do you know who you are? We live on a planet, y'all, where there are over 7.5 billion people that make up this earth. And would you believe out of that 7.5 billion people, 65% of those people don't know who they are? It's crazy, but it's the truth. So I hope today, wherever you are, this is a day that celebrates your presence. This is a day that validates one more step closer to you. Because I'm going to keep echoing it until the intended heart, the intended mind hears it. Your life is priceless. So I'm going to always say this. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. That's right. Did you hear me? You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. Because see, what's at stake, y'all, is your spirit. It's not what's found in your purse. It's not what's found in your wallet. It's not the things that you possess. Because those possessions can be gone tomorrow. I don't have to tell you that. Just look on the news. Do you think those people in Mississippi, those people in the Bible Belt, those people in Texas, how about those people in New Jersey, thought that the day before their lives changed, that they would have to start anew? How about that person in your community that's waking up to being homeless because the night before they lost everything? See, you can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. And see, I believe we are starting to see things that are coming full circle. That's right. And it's got people shook. It's got people scratching their heads. And real is recognizing real. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. Because what's at stake? We're talking about you. And you will come to understand the most prized possession that you will ever have is found within inside yourself. The reason why it's inside yourself because it is protected by that muscle, by that skeletal frame, by those tendons, by those nerve endings, by those cellular structures. The most prized possession you're going to have is found within you. But if you listen to what's projected, they will think that you are ignorant. They will convince you to not see your worth. They will blatantly put false information out so that you can willfully digest it. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. And you know what, y'all? You matter. I'm going to always believe that because I believe that everybody deserves to be happy. But the happiness does not begin until you decide to ground your feet, to stop, to take inventory, to get to know who you are. But if you listen to those people outside your door, they want to put a dollar sign on your worth. It would kind of be weird, wouldn't it, to walk around and see price tags on people's foreheads and or in their on their backs? Now, wouldn't it? But if you listen to people in the cheap seats, that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that the one that has the most possessions is the most safe. Well, if that was the case, why is it every time you turn around, there is someone falling from that pedestal, falling from grace, falling from themselves. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. Why? Because we're talking about you. So I've had people drop me lines. And I try to be very punctual, be punctual when someone takes the time out to write on my videos or send a message through Google Plus or wherever you may find my videos. Because I understand the value of your time. See, Jay-Z may have coined the phrase, you could have been anywhere you choose to be, but you choose to be with me. But I'm the first one that's going to tell you, I don't take credit for none of this. No, I don't write down anything. No, I am a vessel just like you. I am a spiritual being just like you, because you can take the flesh away, but the spirit will always remain. So you can look at me as a spiritual cheerleader for your behalf, or a life coach, or a mentor, or whatever floats your boat to describe access. See, you can't tell me that you were born to suffer, but we're doing a good job making that a reality. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. All I'm trying to do is let you know there's another answer. You have another option, but that option requires you to be transparent. That option requires you to be vulnerable. See, we're talking about you. We're talking about someone that will never be replaceable. That's why you always hear imitation is flattery. I beg to differ, because if you're emulating or imitating someone of influence, you're taking away what can be cultivated to be much more. That's why you will see hundreds and thousands of Rihannas and Beyoncés and Jay-Z's and whoever the flavor of the month or week will be, but they never make the bar. See, you can't be in two places at one time, y'all. You can't. And if imitation was such a flattery, and it gave you such a pass, why are you hurting now? I know I'm talking to someone. So you're going to convince me that your life is supposed to be the one that is supposed to be the overlooked, the shunned, the disrespected, or the unempowered. I beg to differ. But if you listen to those people in the cheap seats, they want you to believe that. So now, socially, we have so much emphasis on sexuality, but yet we have no investment on your spiritual placement. How about that heart? Nobody wants to talk about your heart. Nobody wants to talk about your disappointments or your failures. How about those betrayals? Nobody wants to talk about it because they don't have time for that. But yet, we willfully align ourselves with people that won't uplift us, won't help us grow. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. I beg to differ. So now, we live in a society that is so arrogant, so narcissistic, so shallow that the masses can't even see it right before them. Oh, that's right. Uh-huh. I'll take these little emotional table scraps and I'll mend them together and I'll make do. That's not your walk. But you listen to those people in the cheap seats. Oh, I know. I'll spend my time with you even though you strong harm me, even though you hold me emotionally hostage. Oh, I get it. You make me your slave. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. So what's going on? What's going on is time. It's time to get back to you. Because see, if you stay on the road that you're on, you are willfully giving validation to the things and the people that set out to destroy you. That's right. I know I'm talking to someone. That's your homie, right? That's your ace boon coon. But they're never there when you need them. They're always there when it suits them. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. When you need them the most, they won't give you time of day. When you have things that will uplift you, they're the first ones that will try to talk you out of your decision. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. Do you see the paradigm there? It's not balanced. It's fueled with a lot of insecurity. It's navigated with a bunch of control. It's there's a lot of manipulation going on. And the question is, why? So now we live in a society where social prostitution is going on. Oh yeah, it is. People are so brazen with it. The agenda is to benefit off of your doubt at least investment. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. The question should be asked, why? You think that because you now think that you found your voice, that's going to balance the playing field? All that's going to do is cause you to play yourself. All that's going to do is delay you from the things you need. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. So you frustrated now because now common sense is coming to the forefront and it's causing you to feel a certain kind of way. And you don't like the view that you got that's in your life. And you're mad. You say it to yourself just to appease your emotional state that it's easier to play the victim and look for sympathy than to take your foot and ground it. I know I'm talking to someone. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. Listen here, y'all. You got to make a conscious decision if you're going to live your life. Bottom line, does your life matter? You're not supposed to take the table scraps of life and make do. It's your responsibility to define it. What's at stake is your legacy, y'all. But we are human. That's why when it's all said and done, it will be your legacy that you're going to leave behind. You think it matters how many possessions you got, what you drive, what's found in your pocket? If that was the case, why is it that your peace of mind is only a dream? I know I'm talking to someone because you know deep down inside, your pride, your ego, your arrogance, and the will not to claim your life is what is making up your reality. It is not by chance the people that are in your supposed circle are the way they are. These are nothing but descriptions and being displayed through their behavior. Those those descriptions are all aspects found within you. Oh, you quick to have an opinion. You quick to say, oh, I wouldn't do this and I won't do that. But you won't apply your own advice. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. What's wrong with the picture, y'all? Huh? What's wrong with it? I'll tell you what's wrong with it. You refuse to love yourself. You take your pain and make it into a shield, and that is your crusade. You want to turn around and say, well, you know what? You want to say to yourself, well, that's why, Gerald, all men are dogs. You realize how ignorant that statement is? Think about it. Because, see, you don't know all men. You don't. So how can you make a general statement? Only thing you can speak on is the men that you've allowed access to you. But if you see a commonality, then you have to look at the common denominator, and that's you. So where's the ownership in that? Where's the accountability in that? Huh? You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. So, I know right about now, you pissed off, ain't you? I know you are, because you know I'm speaking truth. The truth can cut, but I believe that each and every one of you deserve to be happy. But you have to be courageous to claim your life back. Aren't you tired of saying this in your mind? This will be the last time this happens to me. This will be the last time I give them access to me. What do? You fold like a bad hand. You and I'm here to tell you, it don't have to be this way. Queens, let me share a secret. There's only one way to return that vibrancy you once had. I know deep down inside, some of y'all like, Gerald, through the years, life have been very hard and it's showing through my body. I'm starting to age before my time. Well, there's a reason for that. The reason is spiritually connected. And what is being shown is the things that are found within yourself. That's right. You know how you hear people now, more now than ever, they're saying, hey, you need to detoxify your body. You need to drink water. You need to have ample rest. You have to have a balance. Well, this goes back to what was always in the scriptures. The scriptures plainly says your body is a temple. So if you're fortifying your body, shouldn't it be able to endure what's found outside your door? But if you're allowing the things that do not uplift you access to you, brick by brick by brick, the foundation will get weak. It will start to shake and sway. It will start to crumble. But see, we quick to spend money and run out to someone and say, hey, because I don't want to invest the time, why don't you nip here? Why don't you tuck there? Why don't you lift here? When all that is needed is inner peace. See, when you have inner peace, y'all, your body rejuvenates itself. Oh, yes, that's the true fountain of youth. When you start to fortify you, when you start the process of healing, you can fool them, but you can't fool you. So you think that you were born to play the secret. You think you were put on this planet to be the person that is the example of sexual inhibitions. That's right. Oh, they're quick to call you because they know secrets will be kept behind the walls and doors, only for a means of compensation. That's not your walk. You keep saying to yourself, this will be the last time, Gerald. I know what I'm doing is wrong, but this is the only thing I know. Well, just know this. When you decide to look that beautiful person in the mirror and tell yourself, I value your life. I am sorry for what I've done to you. You deserve to heal. And I am going to have the courage to forgive. That's right, y'all. Forgive those people that have wronged you. Why do you think I keep bringing up the metaphor of having an emotional backpack? It's because people are so egotistical and arrogant today. Instead of looking at the things that don't work, they compartmentalize it and keep it moving. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. Instead of looking at the things that you naturally need. So what is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. You're birthing out the person that you don't want to be. You're exhibiting the behaviors and traits of the person that is made of your shame. You can fool them, but you can't fool you. So tell me this. Why won't you look at that beautiful heart of yours? Why do you keep holding on to a lie that says my tears have no value? That's the problem with a lot of you. You have so much trauma, so much regret, and you need to let that out. I know I'm talking to someone. You're using that as a false platform, thinking that, well, you know what don't kill me make me stronger. No, being able to understand makes you progress. But if you keep listening to those people that will never be around, let me tell you something. You've seen example time and time again that these people do not see your investment. They just see you as a means, a chip that can be used for exchange, time, money, or physicality. You can fool them, but you cannot fool you. So you get up every day, put that fake mask on to step out into a world that is nothing but gray skies. And you tell yourself every day, if I can just make it through these next 8 hours, if I could just get through this that makes me uncomfortable. You know why it makes you feel uncomfortable? Because you won't claim you. I know I'm talking to someone. You turn around and have willfully put a price tag on your life. You think that's why you were brought on this planet? No. You brought on this planet to grow, to educate, and influence. And in return, your blessings will be revealed. More than you could fathom, more than you could even conceive. You know, we only use 6% of our brain. So ask yourself why. Why you don't think you deserve that. But ask yourself this, why you won't invest. We're talking about you. You are the most precious commodity you will ever know. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. But if you keep listening to those people that have influence, guess what's going to happen? You will be the epitome of the phrase, misery loves company. See, here's the crazy thing. People think that, well, Gerald, the best years of my life are behind me. And I just will not agree with that. Because if you're not living your life, you have yet to see your best years. I know I'm talking to someone. Why are you condoning behavior that does not validate who you are? What are you afraid of? What's got you scared that you say, hey, I don't want to claim me. I just want to go with the flow. Is it because you don't want to do the work required? Or is it there's something you don't understand? Well, if it's something you don't understand, maybe now is the time you have that conversation with yourself. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. What I'm trying to get you to understand, y'all, and what I've described is the second gift that God gave you, and that is free will. But free will means nothing if you do not acknowledge its value to yourself. So to value your free will, you must claim you. And you can't claim you if you're running from yourself. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But see, I understand because you saw your father doing it. You think that's the way to go. You saw your sister doing it. You thinking that's what you should do. The question I should ask is this. Perhaps you were the one that was going to break the cycle. I know somebody saying, but Gerald, that's easier said than done, but deep down inside, I don't know what to do. And I have a lot of regret in my heart. And I'm just making it day by day. Your life is not supposed to be measured by the moment. Because see, your life is an experience, y'all. It is something that should be valued. It should be something that is cultivated. It should be something that is the epitome of your last name. So I ask each and every one of you, what you running from? What's got you so shook that you won't look inside yourself, that won't ground your feet? Because see, I know the truth. I know some of y'all have made choices in your life and you're terrified because there was some manipulation going on. And the reality is you're seeing it and it's got you pissed off. But it don't have you so pissed off that you want to do something different. And you're tired of hearing the voices inside your head. The voices in your head is nothing more than your discernment. That's that little boy and that little girl that's found inside you saying, you deserve better. Let me show you something different about you. Let me show you that you're going to be okay. It's time that we go down this path together. That's that little boy and little girl found in you. That is someone that you owe because they have told you time and time again, This is not where I'm supposed to be at. Why won't you say no? Why won't you get up and leave? Why do you entertain the audience you choose? And you realize that deep down inside, the price paid was time. And you're pretty tired right now. Well, let me tell you something, y'all. The devil's a liar. He wants you to keep that mindset. He wants you to believe that you're here to be that emotional punching bag. He wants you to be that concubine. He wants you to be the one that holds the burdens of others. You're not the victim. You are the victor the moment that you claim yourself back. So let me ask you this. Why won't you go and get a second opinion? You know, I'm going to keep echoing this because a lot of people don't want to admit that they're suffering from depression. You're not just drinking just to drink for sport. You're drinking out of necessity. You have compulsive behaviors that do not sit you, that do not suit you, that disrespect you, that keep you enslaved to that abuser. I know I'm talking to someone. But here's the thing, because you don't hear people talk about it like they should. You have a lot of people that are dealing with post-traumatic stress order. And yes, I know with the last 20 years, that has been a catchphrase attached to the military, to the veterans. But truth be told, if you were raised in a fragmented family, you suffer from PTSD. If you dealt with your parents being separated, or infidelity, or unfortunate traumatic loss, such as a death or a major loss, you're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. And those experiences that are shown to you at a young age make up your psyche as an adult. So once again, you think your life is supposed to be the martyr? You're supposed to be attached to the hip to that person. You don't even smile anymore. You don't even lift your head up and look at the sky. You playing the role of the slave. But inside your mind, you're trying to find the strength to put that foot down. Inside your spirit, you're saying to yourself, I deserve better. And some of you are plotting for your exit. I know I'm talking to someone. So why do you think that your life is supposed to be the way it is? I know somebody's saying right now, well, Gerald, I'm in my 60s. And I've just kicked up dust. And if they ever came out, the reality that I built will be seen as a fraud. Well, you are living a fraud because that ain't your life. That's why you would always see it put in movies. You see the old dude on his deathbed, and he's whispering words to that person. It was his or her truth. And like, man, I didn't know this. And some took it to their grave, only for it to come out. So you got to ask yourself, why would you hold on to a burden your whole life, knowing that it is robbing you of the life you should have? Why? For acceptance, for false adulation, acknowledgement? Come on. You don't deserve that. And who's to say maybe what is intended far exceeds, but you will never know that because you're living a life that's not yours. So why would you expect blessings to come from a life that ain't yours? So now, my younger generation, if you're under the age of 35, take heed. You will never understand who you are until you hit the back 30s. It doesn't surprise you why you look on the TV and you see day after day people dying tragically, senselessly. There's a reason for it all, y'all. But if you don't know who you are, how can you make the decisions you need for your life? How can you? So now, the agenda has turned up a notch. Oh, yes, it is. I told y'all from day one, Queens, society wants you to play the role of the kept woman, the secret lover, the Jezebel, the fun girl. Don't you realize there's a price that comes with that? What's being ransomed is your heart. What's being bartered is your body. What is being numbed out is your discernment. You with this dude, and all he wants to do is put you on your knees so he can rip out your backside. First of all, that's what a sodomite does. That's right. That's why it hurts, because it's a form of control. Oh, he loves to run up in you. He loves to watch you wet the sheets, but he won't give you time of day. He treats you like a piece of meat, and he'll never claim you. Women are not out of the woods. They're not out of the woods because you have women out there that have willfully convinced themselves. And they say, well, I'm not a hoe. Don't call me out my name. But your behavior is no different than the woman who is emotionally checked out and walks the night. And what happens to those women? They have heinous deaths, or worse, they die slow. They end up waking up and they have a disease that will rob them of their lives. I keep telling y'all, HIV, herpes, chlamydia, gonorrhea, venereal disease. These are nothing but spiritual afflictions. See, that's what the devil wants. He wants to turn that beautiful little boy and little girl into what we know is unbecoming, to leave those that genuinely care for them scratching their head, saying, well, you know, he could have been anything he wanted to do. Well, he's addicted to heroin. He's strung out on methamphetamines. And he's soliciting the only thing that he has as a means of exchange. Let me tell you something. You're not going to find respect. You're not going to find honor if you willfully have a position of denial. You're not going to have that. I know there's somebody right now, you're saying to yourself, Gerald, well, I don't live reckless like that, but when I was in my teens, you know, I was in a dark period. You wasn't in a dark period. What you were experiencing was a void emotionally, spiritually, and you were vulnerable to those that were aware. So what I'm trying to say is there will always be predators, y'all. Why do you think sugar daddies exist? Why do you think sugar mamas exist? Huh? Let me explain something. Without intervention, those who have been abused have a stronger probability to become the abuser. Do you not see the correlation? Look at the pedophiles. Every time a pedophile is caught, they always ask, how did you get here? And their answer is 9 times out of 10, someone that should have protected them violated them. That's not supposed to be right, y'all. So once again, you can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. Don't you see the agenda for my younger generation? You don't see the covertness going on? Look at the music. It's not talking about honor. It's not talking about love. It's talking about exploitation. What's the catchphrase now? Female empowerment. Well, a female can't empower herself unless she knows who she is. But society wants you to put a dollar sign on your backside. Society wants you to compartmentalize your abuse, your disappointments, and use that as a motivational tool for financial gain. What's the point of going through all that and you die the next day? Ain't no amount of money in the world gonna be good enough for someone that has just been told you got 6 weeks to live. Huh? You think that's supposed to be your walk? You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. So the question should be asked, why won't you fight for you? Huh? You not think you're worth it? So now society is, they have puppets out there, because you do understand every year there's a new puppet. You know why they do that? They do that to influence the impressionable. That's why they're going after your babies at such a alarming rate. That is why they're putting out the illustrations through movies, media of any kind to inspire. Because see, guess what, y'all? Them doctors gotta have patience because it makes money. Those companies that make prescription pills gotta have those that are broken so that they can make money. Mind you, is $1 billion industry. But do you realize how many people that are on prescription pills, if they would just make a conscious decision to allow the healing process to begin, you would rejuvenate yourself. You would. Of course, there would be side effects. It's to wean you from the poisons that you have willfully put in your body, thinking that is going to be a cure. There is no cure in money when it comes to the prescription industry. The money is sustainment. That's why that doctor won't tell you the truth. That's why they always say to save face, go get a second opinion. You know why? Because they want to keep you distracted and keep you digging in your purse. Why won't you dig in your heart? Why won't you have that conversation with God? You have that conversation with everybody else, and what has gotten out of that? Nothing but more misery. That's why I asked from day one, I said, you want to know the foundation of your friends? Look them dead in the face and ask them, what is your purpose? And if they can't answer it, they'll never be your friend because they don't know who they are. And if they don't know who they are, how can they honor you? They can't because they don't honor themselves. But more importantly, if they don't have a foundation with God, you are aimlessly walking this planet till you die. I know I'm talking to someone. Ain't nothing worse to watch a beautiful flower, a handsome young man go through distress, doing time in his mind, enslaved by not acknowledging what exists. You want the pain to go away? Give those secrets a voice. You say to yourself, I ain't gonna do that, girl. I do that, I'm gonna be embarrassed. But you wasn't embarrassed when you did what you did. You think because it's behind closed doors, people don't see? Let me tell you something, y'all. You do understand that there are certain people that are tied to your spirit. This was done before you were born. It's because those people have you have to do something. Y'all both have to do something to fulfill God's will. That's why y'all were brought together. Now, on the flip side of that, the devil knows that. The devil knows what's at stake. Devil does not want you to become that person that you're destined to be. So guess what? He's got to throw distractions. So he uses your fears. He uses your desires to distract you from yourself. That's why words have powers. That's why thoughts have the magnitude of what they are. That is what the law of attraction is. But if you don't know who you are, guess what? It's going to be perverted. Oh, yeah, that's how it goes. But I can tell you this, y'all. Anything ordained by God is going to come to pass because it is His will. And I think that some of y'all are shook about that because you know that you don't have to pay for what you owe. That's right. That's why people come back in your life, y'all. That's why those memories that you got that you've tried so much through behaviors to bury, they always come to the top. It's because you have a spiritual connection to that person. Now, on the flip, on the flip side, the devil does the same thing. We know this as soul ties. And it's very powerful, y'all, because it's the flesh. That's why on my last video I told you, you may go somewhere and it can be impromptu and there's a connection with someone and you have a yearning in your spirit. And before you even know that person, you've already bedded them down. See, that person is going to be the person that will issue your lesson, not your blessing. So what happens out of that? You see their behaviors because they're connected to you inside. You see your mannerisms through them because we're talking a spiritual exchange. You want to lift that? You want to make the pain stop? It's time for you to stop running from yourself. That's why I keep telling y'all. You can fool them. You can pack your bag and move to Botswana, but the pain won't end. Because guess what? The devil already knows that, and he's going to bring you some more people in there. Oh, you think because you moved that the pain, you can just start all up? No, 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 no. It just intensifies. And what happens? You'll end up going back to where it all began. But guess what? Because God loves you so much, He's not going to give you things you can't withstand. It may seem right now that your life, you feel like you just want to die. You're sitting on the side of that bed and you're curled up and you're saying, Gerald, nobody gets me. But all they do is want to use me. They can't do that if you don't give them access. Some of you may have shame because you know that there were practices and behaviors that you thought was normal because you saw people connected to you, maybe by family, by association, and you emulated that behavior, but it made you feel more emptier each time you indulged in those behaviors. It's because that little boy and that little girl is telling you, hey, you deserve better. I need you to get up. I need you to walk away from this person. But what do? You turn a blind eye. What do? They mask those behaviors through covert means. He only comes around to get you drunk so he can take advantage of you, to only wake up disheveled. And you don't understand why. Or then you try to convince yourself, well, you know what? Okay, I know I've done all this tomfoolery. I'm going to make this relationship, the next one, I'm going to give it my all, only to get your heart broken. Why? There's a reason for it. The reason is you were never supposed to be there. The pain is to motivate you to go back. That's why you always hear people say, to know your future, you must know your past. Well, your past is your history. But if you don't know who you are, that's history that it should have never taken place. And you know what's funny? And I say this figuratively. I know there's some people right now that say, well, you know what, Gerald? Excuse my French. Your disposition, look, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do whatever I want. what I want, how I want, and they can all go to hell. But you living in hell. You had spiritual in divine intervention where you had people through serendipitous events take place to give you advice and tell you, hey, this isn't the way to go. You shouldn't do this. But because of the fact that you don't know who you are, you rebel. Some of us have seen that in our teenage years. How many times did your parents tell you, hey, I don't want you hanging out with those folks? No, you can't drive the car. But it's because they saw their behaviors being exhibited through your actions and they were trying to save you from yourself. But I know some people may say, well, Joe, that's being hypocritical. All my mother did was sleep around. My dad didn't care about me. He left me. But I'm supposed to be the one that is supposed to walk upright. But this is the foundation of how I see the world. Why? It's because God got something better for you, King. It's because he sees your worth, Queen. But that devil, okay. Why you think you keep seeing those fake butt girls around you? Just conveniently, everywhere you go, there's that next one. Because these are people that the devil is using to influence more despair. See, the price for it all is your life. What he wants is your soul. He doesn't want you to become the person you're destined to be because you're going to make a difference. He can't afford that. So guess what? He allows those demons. hmm And I say that figuratively, but demons have one signature for sure. They have the signatures of your behavior with them. And you see it and it frustrates you because you're like, I know this person don't think I'm that stupid. But you go along with it. We're talking free will, y'all. We're talking your destiny. You don't think you're worth it? I know somebody's saying to you, saying right now, Gerald, I want the nightmare to end. My life is not supposed to be that way. But yet, you still open that door, and he comes over to tear your rectum up, to take out his frustrations on your body, to desecrate your spirit. For what? A couple dollars? He has no respect for you at all. But you have loyalty for him. I know I'm talking to someone. Why? Because you think the imagery that you see played out on social media, that's the way to go to your success? Come on now, my queen. Let me tell you something. When you stop playing and start healing, your blessings will come. But let me tell you what, the greatest travesty you could ever see is for someone to live your blessing because you willfully allowed your ego and pride to be your foundation. I know I'm talking to someone. That's why cheating, cheaters never win, y'all. They always pay a price that they can't afford to pay. They pay with their heart. They pay with their minds. They pay with their bodies. Why you think STDs exist, y'all? STDs are nothing but spiritual afflictions to convince you that your life don't matter. No. Mm-mm. I don't care if you have HIV. I don't care. If you see your worth, guess what? You can turn back the hands of time. Your body has a natural compass inside it to regenerate itself. You already know that. Think about it. You can turn around and cut your hand. Though the pain comes, though the blood may flow, your hand still heals. The scar represents the wisdom of what not to do. So what about those scars on your heart? Hmm? What about those scars on your mind? Then ask yourself this: why do you continue to believe you're not worth it? Huh? I know somebody's saying right now, Joe, I hear what you're saying, but I just want my man to be faithful to me. I give him everything he wants. Everything. There's nothing I won't do for him. All he has to do is ask. And I will give him everything of me. But guess what? There's no loyalty there. The reason why there's no loyalty there is because he's not loyal to himself. This is a behavior that has gone on through his life. He learned this when he was young. Or it may have been a derivative of a trauma. And that fostered resentment. That's why I tell you, queens, if you have a son, the worst thing that you could ever do is keep him from his father. Because he's going to need that. Because you cannot, he can only learn your traits, but he will never understand who he is until he knows his father. So that's why you can't use your children as pawns. Yes, he may have been the one that hurt you. So you say, well, I'll make him suffer. I'll go for his pockets. But I'm going to make sure that he never sees his kids. And you know what happens? You will end up paying a price so deep. Because what's going to happen is that child is not going to grow upright. And your embarrassments, your disappointments exhibited from your child's upbringing will be for you to deal with. You can't turn around and say, well, I don't understand why Johnny went out there and robbed that bank. That's not my baby. But I guarantee a nickel to a dime, if he had that balance, there's a strong possibility he may not have made those decisions. I know somebody's saying, well, Gerald, his father is a career convict, or he is someone that doesn't value life, and he took advantage of me. But I chose to have this child. I know I'm talking to someone. So let me get this. Who suffers more? Your pride or your children's upbringing? You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. But you know what? This is something I don't understand. For the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of senseless deaths with a lot of youth, men in the black community. Some were legitimately uncalled for and senseless. And mind you, any death is one death too many. And but there's always a small percentage. You see this. I don't understand why he killed him. He was a good kid, but yet that's the image he showed you. He didn't show you the image that the world saw. And you want to take a blind eye for that. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. But yet we want to turn a blind eye to that. There was a child that was not rescued when it should have been. And I guarantee a nickel to a dime, God probably sent a man to you that could influence him or influence her. And I say that because our babies, our kids are being snuffed out before their time. No parent should have to bury their child before them. But it goes on. And you hear this, well, you just got that goes on in the hood. No, it don't. It don't need to go to your doorstep. Because I'm a firm believer, a house that prays together stays together. And all things come full circle. So, you want to keep holding on to this lie? You want to continue to exploit yourself? You're going to constantly sit down with fools and emotional predators? You dealing with a guy that's 20 years your senior. And you say, well, he gets me. No, he gets between your legs. He gets his jollies and he gets the hell on. And you think that, well, you know what? If I give him loyalty, he'll give me that car. So you telling me your self-respect is worth a car? It's worth a house? What about the self-respect of doing it on your own merits? Huh? Come on, queens. You weren't brought on this planet. The only job was to be the best person given fellatio and anal sex. Because I'm going to tell you something, my mothers. Your daughters are getting turned out. They're falling prey to people that look like the men that you used to roll with. But you think that, oh, she's innocent. No, 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 no. Let me tell you something. All your tricks and conniving ways, she learned them. She watched it. Every time you opened that door and you closed it, every argument you had, every response you gave, she learned it. You got to understand, that little girl, somebody's baby is walking that street right now. Male or female, somebody's baby right now is sitting on the internet talking to a predator, talking to somebody that wants to do nothing but to deplete them. That's the reality we live in. You think that the sex trade don't exist? Hello? The biggest sex trade ever found is found in the United States. But because of the fact that the government can make a buck, they say, oh yeah, they can do that in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, lost. It's not blessed, y'all. So when are you gonna get your life back? You tired of those crow's feet? You tired of that? Tired of your back? I'm not laughing, but come on. It's contradictory. He don't say two words to you. He digging in between your thighs. And all you wanted was a hug. It's because that's how he sees you. But I will say this, though. Your biggest challenge is going to be this. Kings, queens, hear my words. See, because God loves you so much, he showed you what you needed at some time in your life. And this person showed you a perspective unlike any other that you could imagine. And you turned around and made light. So God made distance. But the funny thing about it, figuratively, is no matter how hard you try, see, the worst misconception you could ever have is to embrace this philosophy. To get over someone is to get under another. Don't you know that demons made that? They want you to rebel. They do. Because they know the more you rebel, the more vulnerable you become. Why you think your throat hurts? But they'll tell you real quick, well, let's try something new. You realize how many people were influenced off of the movie 50 Shades of Grey? You know God wasn't in that, right? That's why it flopped. Love's not supposed to hurt, y'all. But you don't care. He's sticking stuff all up in you. But yet he won't wrap his arms around you and give you a hug. I know I'm talking to someone. You think your life is supposed to be the Jezebel? Play the role of the side chick? How about the kept woman? Don't you realize those descriptive words have one thing in common? That's death. Because guess what? After they finish depleting you, they replace you. You already know that because you've even condoned this. Well, what I don't know, what I don't hurt. And what do? You try to increase the bench. You try to beat them at their own game. And what do? It comes out. And what do? They jump on you, swell you right on up, and then still take it. You said, well, Joe, that's rape. What's being raped is your mind. What's being victimized is your heart. Come on now. Come on now. You can fool them, but you can't fool yourself. When you want to turn back the hands of time, you'll stand in front of that mirror. You'll take every stitch of clothes that you got on off. You look yourself in the eye and say, I'm sorry. You'll look yourself in the eye and say, I love me. You will look inside yourself and you ask God to forgive you. You ask him to protect you from those that prey upon you, not pray for you. Some of y'all got to deal with the reality of this. Because your secrets had financial gain, you didn't see the shame that comes with it. But these people got your best interest. Come on now. Come on now. But yet this person, when he talks to you, she talks to you, she always uses singular tense. I. Never we. Us. Both. Why? Because they don't see you in their future. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your work. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Strippers are miserable. Porn stars are too. That's why they get drunk. That's why they get high. And what happens out of that? The money comes quick, but it's never enough. It's not going to be, because the price is your soul, and it's exhibited through your physical prowess. You want to turn back the hands of time? It's time for you to go within inside yourself. It's time for you to atone for your wrongs. It's time for you to fall back in love with yourself. If you have the courage to do the things you don't need, why won't you have the courage to do the things you do? Because guess what? Your blessings are on the other side. And guess what happens? When you start to go within yourself, when you start to place God first in all you do, you're going to be spiritually divided from those people. One by one, you'll start to see, I hate to say it, calamity. You'll start to see things occur to these people. And that's to let you know that God said, you know what? That child is mine. I'm about to lift that mask so you can see the truth about those people. And that's why secrets are coming out. And that's why there is no like-mindedness, because now the spiritual battle begins. You didn't piss them demons off. The devil's saying, no, 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 no. I didn't ran shout on this person's life for 30 years. I'm not done, because I need to kill them. I need to destroy their lives and destroy anything that's connected to them. Oh, and they love the two for one. They'll let you turn around and deplete yourself so you can influence your children. But guess what? Maybe just by chance, you weren't the target. It was your children. I know I'm talking to someone. If you are dealing with depression, the answer will not be found at the bottom of that bottle. It will not be found by that stranger bouncing up and down on your heart. It will not be found in your rebellion. It'll be found in your guided steps, because you'll make a conscious decision to love yourself. Do something that you've never done before and allow the transparency to begin. Be vulnerable to your emotions. Like I said, you can fool them, but you can't fool you. But if you keep walking with them, you might as well go ahead, pick your coffin out, make your obituary. Because guess what? The life that you think was yours always ends up in death. Be blessed, y'all.